rejuvenate, transform, and impact as a deliberate progression. They reflect the journey that genuine reform takes from vision through implementation to making gains last and delivering lasting results. The 3 roundtables will tackle the future of work in the public sector, partnerships and collaboration, and financing reform under fiscal pressure. They are not designed to generate the usual friction that produces insight. They are designed for comfortable consensus. The deal room is our most consequential innovation this year. Stakeholders will not merely discuss partnerships. They will formalize them with legal officers on hand to support the signing of Memorandum of Understanding. We want this conference to end with signatures, not just speeches. So your active engagement is essential to turn discussions into tangible commitments. To every delegate in this room, we have not invited you here to observe Nigeria. We have invited you to participate in a global conversation. Some of you have solved problems we are still working through. Some of you are working through problems we have recently solved. That is exactly why the diversity in this room is an asset, not merely a courtesy. So I ask you to engage fully, visit the stages, participate actively in roundtables, and sign agreements in the deal room. When you leave Abuja, bring back one actionable commitment as a reform that remains in a conference notebook is a missed opportunity. Welcome to ICIC 2026. Welcome to Abuja. Welcome to the conversation that will help us build the civil services our citizens desire. Thank you.
Very well delivered, eloquent, with so much poise and elocution. Please, can we give it to her one more time? The chief host of this event, ladies and gentlemen, please celebrate with me a distinguished patriot and icon of excellence and the gracious host of this prestigious conference, Mrs. Didi Esther Wilson-Jack, OON, MNI. One more round of applause, please, just as it takes her set. Your Excellency, our very dear President, ably represented here by the Secretary to Government of the Federation. Today, we are celebrating an exceptional daughter of Africa, an icon of diplomacy, and a beacon of visionary leadership, Amina J. Mohammed. Her Excellency has continued to distinguish herself on the global stage through service, integrity, intellect, and unwavering commitment to humanity. From Nigeria to the United Nations, he has remained a powerful voice for sustainable development, peace, gender equality, and inclusive progress. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, she's not able to be here with us in person, but she's here to be able to deliver a very goodwill message to this auspicious conference. So if your hands are not as busy, I'd like you to please join me in welcoming Her Excellency, Mrs. Amina Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations.
Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Her Excellency Didi Esther Wilson-Jack, Head of the Civil Service of the Federation. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to join you for the International Civil Service Conference in Abuja and to reflect with you on the future of public service at such an important moment. My thanks to Her Excellency Didi Esther Wilson-Jack for convening this important conference. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, across the world, people are looking to public institutions for delivery, dignity, and hope. From ensuring access to education, water and sanitation, healthcare and justice, to fostering opportunities and enabling people and communities to flourish, the civil service is critical to all our lives. This is also the promise at the heart of the SDGs Goal 16, peace, just and inclusive societies, grounded in effective, accountable and inclusive institutions. SDG 16 is not only one goal among many, it is the foundation on which progress across the entire 2030 agenda depends. Without peace, development cannot take root. Without justice, inequalities deepen. Without strong institutions, policies do not reach people's lives. And without trust, societies cannot mobilize the collective action needed for transformation. But business as usual will not deliver the change we need. The SDGs are off track. Fiscal pressure are growing. Conflicts, climate shocks, and inequalities are straining communities. And in many places, trust in institutions is being tested. This moment calls for a renewed public service compact, rooted in integrity, professionalism, innovation, and inclusion. It calls for institutions that listen, learn, and deliver. It calls for stronger digital infrastructure and data systems that support sound policy analysis, improve service delivery, strengthen accountability, and bring government closer to the people. It calls for stronger transparency and accountability from the federal level to the local level. And it calls for the full participation and leadership of women and young people, not as beneficiaries alone, but as decision makers, innovators, co-creators, and partners in shaping the future. So as you meet in Abuja, I encourage you to be bold, to ask how the civil service can rebuild trust, deliver faster and fairer, bring government closer to people, and become a true engine for SDG acceleration. At a time when public institutions are under pressure, I pay tribute to all those who serve with dedication and integrity every day. Your work matters for peace, for justice, for dignity, and for the future we owe the next generation. I wish you all a successful and productive conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, we can make that applause a lot louder than that. That is Nigeria's gift to the world. Thank you very much indeed. At this point in time, would like to take a few more goodwill messages. And the very next goodwill message, Your Excellency, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is going to be coming from a man, a very respected diplomat, a committed partner in strengthening the enduring relationship between the United Kingdom and Nigeria, and his dedication to cooperation, development, and mutual progress continues to foster stronger ties between our two nations. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please join me as I say to be welcoming to the podium Sir Richard Montgomery, the British High Commissioner to Nigeria. Please, I'd like that we please welcome him with a very deserving round of applause for his goodwill message. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, sir. She's speaking from there. Don't worry. Go ahead with this. Leave it.
Good afternoon, everybody. Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, represented today by His Excellency, the Secretary of the Government of the Federation, Dr. George Akume, honourable ministers, and of course, the head of the Civil Service of the Federation and other senior officials here. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to stand on protocols already observed. I thought I was going to get away with it because they'd removed the podium, so I thought I wasn't going to have to speak, sir. But I am very honoured to be here, and I wanted to start by thanking the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Mrs. Didi Esther Wilson-Jack, and for inviting me to deliver some goodwill remarks. And I wanted to say congratulations to you, Madam, for this second International Civil Service Conference. I was at the first, the inaugural one last year, and it set an impressive bar, an impressive baseline for sharing lessons of what's going on in Nigeria and also more internationally. And I was delighted to hear we have many more international partners here this year than last, so my congratulations. And I think a round of applause for Mrs. Wolfson-Jack. And I listened to you, Madam, and absolutely I agree that we can all learn from each other. We meet at a time of very significant global uncertainty. Conflict in the Sahel, in Ukraine, the Iran crisis, and all the spillover effects. Technology, artificial intelligence. I remember, Madam, last year you gave a presentation on AI. And of course, AI brings new capabilities. And I think Honourable Minister Dr. Tunji Ojo gave an incredibly inspiring speech earlier on the use of technology in your transformation process. But we also know that these new technologies bring new risks. Finally, of course, geopolitical shifts. We live in an uncertain world. Multilateral cooperation is more difficult sometimes. And we all need to build new partnerships and alliances. And all public servants, including in my own country, are struggling with these uncertainties, with these challenges. So in such challenging times, the role of all of you, the civil service of the Federation, the public servants from other countries, our role is ever much more important. And we are delighted to learn from Nigeria. You know, the United Kingdom has sought to step up our partnership because of the reforms, economic and more broadly, under the Renewed Hope initiative. We are already seeing in Nigeria higher investment and higher growth, but also some impressive resilience to present global challenges. And for the UK, this has created a desire for us to step up our partnership. And we saw that when we signed a new strategic partnership in 2024, and we saw that in the recent state visit of His Excellency, the President to the United Kingdom, hosted by His Majesty the King. And these diplomatic partnerships, they have to be based on delivery and results. And we were really delighted that we, between us, agreed over $1.5 billion new investment, dollars worth of investment in agriculture, in infrastructure in Nigeria. And of course, the state visit reaffirmed our long-term ties, our commitment, shared commitment to security, prosperity, and democracy. And of course, we harness the benefits of the amazing diasporas in both our countries that create the people-to-people links. But I would discourage, of course, any complacency in our relationship given the context of global uncertainties. And reforms of the economy, of the civil service, of any country take time. They need sustained attention. They need the energy that you are injecting, Madam, into the accelerate and all the 3 R's that you mentioned, reform, resilience, and results, very topical for today's world. But SGF and Mr. President, our countries share a strong and enduring partnership. I'm delighted that the head of civil service has sought out international partnerships, not just from us, but from all the other international partners. We all have issues to learn from each other. But I am particularly delighted that the UK and Nigeria, partly because of your leadership, Madam, continue to cultivate a number of peer-to-peer relationships. That's also in finance, between our central banks, it's between our health agencies, it's between our tax authorities, but most important for today, between our Cabinet Office, your office, between your delivery units and our equivalent in the UK. We're very grateful for the open partnership that you have helped to cultivate. All helped, of course, by diaspora people in both our countries that know both our systems, which is wonderful. So let me end this message of goodwill. I really hope that everybody is able to identify key lessons in all the wonderful stages throughout the venue. I really hope that we get to build the reforms, we can deliver more results, and we can all cultivate our resilience in the year ahead. And I hope that the insights from this conference will inspire us all to do better as public servants and make lives for our citizens in all our countries better. Thank you very much.
Very much, Your Excellency. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We appreciate you, and your presence here speaks volume to what we're doing here today. Please, can we give him another round of applause, please? In a nutshell, the civil service remains the bridge between government policies and the people's expectations, and that is what this conference is aimed at achieving. Another round of applause for the chief host for convening this program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Andy. Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to lead us further in telling the electrifying story of the International Civil Service Conference, please join me in welcoming the Muna Dance Academy troupe all the way from the Garden City of Port Harcourt, Rivers State, for their presentation.
From every corner of the land, hear the call. From the winding creeks of the south, from the ancient cities of the center, from the deep forests of the east, from the restless cities of the west, and from the far-reaching plains of the north, let every culture speak. Let every voice be heard as we welcome the hands that sustain a nation.
Mun zo gurin nan domin zaman lafiya da mutunci da amana. Muna gaishe da mutanen wannan guri, ina kwananku, ina gajiyanku. Yanda kowa ya zo gurin nan lafiya, Allah ya komar da kowa gida lafiya.
Àwa ọmọ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, a kí àwọn tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún ire gbogbo ènìyàn.
A nation stands because service never sleeps. Through wisdom, duty, and sacrifice, the hopes of millions are carried forward. Today, cultures unite, nations gather, voices become one. To honor service, to celebrate excellence, to shape the future together. Welcome to the force that sustains a nation. Welcome to the International Civil Service Conference 2026. and gentlemen, the applause is loud, the celebration is sweet, and the history has been written. A new service
Peace and progress everywhere spread. The people rejoice. Nigeria united, one strong.
But beyond the titles, responsibility awaits. Because after the handshakes, after the photographs, after the praises of Carry Go, work must begin.
First by 4. But you still there by 6. Now office life it is. First by 4. But you still there by 6. Now office life it is. First by 4. But you still there by 6. Now office life it is. Hey! Office people, where you there? If your file don't ever lost it. Hey! 2, 1, hey! Stamp am, sign am, move that file, $1. Stamp am, sign am, once they come, adjust am. Stamp am, sign am, move that file, $1. Stamp am, sign am, once they come, adjust am. File don't jam, clear road. Everybody shift, overload. Table to table, pass and go. If you miss once, while I go blow. Left, right, stamp, sign, move that body in a straight line. Delay small, you go pay, fine. Office dance, but we still shine. 805, you dey sneak inside. Bossman eye sharp, no way to hide. Chair go squeak as you quickly slide. Act like say you don't dey since 9. Printer jump, hit them twice. Net quite slow, you roll your eyes. Madam call, you act all nice. But your mind dey lunch and rise. When I whoop that file, move. No go down for line. No. If you slack one time, no. Now your head go sign. No. Stamper, sign up. Move that file, $1. Stamper, sign up. Once they come, I just
With her team beside her, she steps into the office of service, a place filled with files, paperwork, shelves, and systems that have carried the nation for years. This is where long hours live, where paper moves from table to table, where signatures may travel slower than dreams.
Tea break turn mini party. Everybody laugh like they know all I did. But once I got show for the lobby, everybody back to serious.
But perhaps, just perhaps, change is knocking at the door.
So I want to ask, how do I apply for maternity leave as a civil servant?
To apply for maternity leave as a civil servant, you'll generally follow the procedure outlined in the public service rules.
Nigeria is still becoming, still reaching toward the version of itself it has always imagined. And behind that movement, behind policies, ministries, institutions, and public trust is the civil service. Not perfect, not without challenge, but willing to evolve. Because reform does not begin in comfort. It begins in the decision to do better, to move from systems that once struggled under the weight of time into systems becoming faster, smarter, and more connected. From service that once felt distant to service becoming more accessible, more responsive, more human. And perhaps that is the real meaning of progress. Acknowledging there were challenges, but refusing to remain where we used to be. Because the strength of a workforce has never been in sameness. It is in variety, in inclusion, and the understanding that creativity and excellence are not limited by physical ability. Somewhere along the journey, somewhere between reform and resilience, the anthem began to sound a lot less like music and more like memory. This is the Federal Civil Service. We are marching to greatness. History will remember our courage to evolve through resilience, reforms, and results.
Service, pride, now we take it to the sky. We rise as one, hearts on fire. One time, stand up, stand tall. We will never fall. We rise as one, singing civil service.
Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you agree with me that that was a beautiful and energetic performance by the Mona dance troupe. They told the story of the civil service transformation very beautifully. They highlighted our enterprise content management, the digitization of our processes, our paperless policy, and also the service-wise GPT, which has made work very seamless in the civil service, and the epic culture, of course. Civil servants are now epic, efficient, productive, incorruptible, and citizen-centered. No thanks to our amiable head of the Civil Service of the Federation and her team of transformative permanent secretaries. I think they deserve a better round of applause. Thank you very much. Mr. Andy, over to you.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, our special guest of honor, and our distinguished guests from different parts of the world. I'm going to be introducing a man, our leader, who was led with purpose, who is still leading with purpose, who is also leading with unwavering commitment to national renewal, economic transformation, and democratic governance. And his leadership has continued to shape the future of our dear nation. Under his visionary leadership, Nigeria continues to pursue reforms aimed at strengthening institutions, empowering citizens, and building a more resilient, prosperous, and a very virile nation for generations to come. He's not here in person, but he's been represented today by a man who is an accomplished statesman, a seasoned administrator, and a patriot of uncommon dedication. As a former governor of Benue State for 8 consecutive years, distinguished senator of the Federal Republic, former minister of special duties and intergovernmental affairs, and today stands pretty very tall as the Secretary to Government of the Federation. His remarkable journey in public service reflects not only experience and loyalty, but enduring commitment to nation building. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the leader I talk about is His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, who will be speaking through an elder statesman and a patriot, an icon per excellence. Please join me in welcoming His Excellency Senator George Akume, CON, Secretary to Government of the Federation, whom the President of Nigeria will be speaking through. Can I have that round of applause one more time for him?
Please be seated. I'll be seated. The glasses, yes. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I stand proxy for my boss, the President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, CCON. He's not here because of other commitments outside of Abuja, but you know he loves the service. Permit me to proceed with his statement to this beautiful occasion. It is a profound pleasure to return to this assembly of dedicated public servants and global partners. About a year ago, we gathered here to flag off a bold vision for a rejuvenated, innovative, and future-ready civil service. Today, we return not merely to review progress, but to acknowledge the first fruits of that collective effort. The theme of this year's conference, Reforms, Resilience, and Results, is not just a slogan. It is a statement of intent and a measure of our progress. It reflects our transition from aspiration to execution, and from execution to measurable impact. In the past 11 months, the Nigerian public service has moved beyond plans and policy declarations. It has tested its systems against global economic pressures, domestic service demands, and the urgent expectations of citizens. The results we see today speak to the resilience, commitment, and adaptability of our workforce. Under the renewed hope agenda of this administration, we promise a government that works for every Nigerian. We recognize then, as we do now, that no policy, however sound, can succeed without a capable, disciplined, and high-performing civil service to implement it. You are the engine room of national transformation. Today, that engine is becoming faster, smarter, more accountable, and more responsive to the needs of our people. When we spoke of digitalization in 2025, some may have considered it an ambition for the distant future. Today, with 38 ministries and extra ministerial departments operating on a secure, paperless, and end-to-end electronic workflow system, we are sending a clear message that Nigeria is building a public service that enables progress. Our bureaucracy must no longer be seen as a bottleneck. It must serve as a bridge to efficiency, investment, innovation, and inclusive growth. This digital leap is being reinforced by the personnel audit and skills gap analysis, which I authorized during the last conference and which is now nearing completion. We are no longer relying on assumptions about our capability and capacity. We are measuring it. We are identifying gaps, strengthening competencies, and ensuring that the right people are placed in the right roles, equipped with the digital skills and professional discipline required for 21st century governance. A few days ago, at the Africa Chief Executive Forum in Rwanda, I spoke about Nigeria's bold digital infrastructure ambition through Project Bridge, building resilient digital infrastructure for growth. As we accelerate our digital transformation journey, we welcome investors and partners to participate in Nigeria's digital infrastructure ecosystem. This is a critical foundation for jobs, business growth, innovation, public service efficiency, and expanded connectivity for millions of Nigerians in the digital economy. Accordingly, all ministries and extra ministerial departments are hereby directed to sustain and deepen their digitalized work processes. Agencies are also directed to adopt digitalization across their internal operations and service delivery systems. The era of manual inefficiency must give way to a culture of speed, transparency, data-driven decision-making, and citizen-centered service. I wish to specifically commend the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Mrs. Didi Esther Wilson-Jack, for her exemplary leadership in driving the Federal Civil Service Strategy and Implementation Plan 2021 to 2025, which has yielded significant results. The integration of innovative tools, including the service-wise GPT, demonstrates what is possible when visionary leadership is matched with disciplined execution, institutional ownership, and a clear commitment to reform. I also commend the collective efforts of our ministries, extra-ministerial departments, and agencies. Through sustained internal collaboration, Nigeria's public service transformation journey has continued to gain momentum. A shared commitment to governance reforms, institutional strengthening, and improved service delivery is positioning the country as an emerging benchmark for public service reform on the continent and beyond. To our international partners from Africa and across the world, I thank you for your continued collaboration. Your insights, reform experience, and technical support have strengthened our transformation journey. Nigeria is reforming with confidence, not only to meet domestic expectations, but also to contribute meaningfully to regional and global standards in public service excellence. This conference must therefore serve as a results laboratory. It must challenge us to ask hard questions. How do we make reform irreversible? How do we strengthen accountability? How do we ensure that technology improves service delivery and not merely internal processes? How do we build institutions that endure beyond personalities and political cycles? We must institutionalize resilience so that the progress of today becomes the standard of tomorrow. The world is watching Nigeria. More importantly, Nigerians are expecting results. Our responsibility is to justify their confidence by building a civil service that is sufficient, ethical, professional, innovative, and firmly committed to national development. Before I conclude this statement, I want to welcome you all once again, particularly members of the National Assembly, the honorable ministers, the head of service of the Federation of Nigeria, Didi Jack, and her counterparts from across the world. You are sincerely welcome. We also welcome members of the diplomatic corps, especially the UK envoy to our country, Richard Montgomery, and his Cuban counterpart, the chairman, Civil Service Commission, the chairman, Ike Mukede Foundation, permanent secretaries, top public servants, distinguished ladies and gentlemen who are all here to participate at this very important occasion. It is therefore, on this note, it is my honor to declare the International Civil Service Conference 2026 open. I look forward to the reform actions, measurable commitments, and practical outcomes that will emerge from your deliberations. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you all.
We can do better with that round of applause for the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, speaking through the Secretary to Government of the Federation. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, just as you take your seat very briefly, please be seated briefly, Your Excellency. Please, thank you very much. We want to welcome the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole. Would like to welcome you. And also want to recognize members of the diplomatic community that have just joined us, the ambassadors of Tunisia, the ambassador of Algeria, and the ambassador of Cuba, respectively. We would like to welcome all of you. Thank you very much. We'll be having a photo opportunity with the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. And that will be done on the stage. We're going to crave an indulgence. It's going to be a brief walk to the stage, and the head of Civil Service of the Federation will be leading the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces to the stage for pictures. But before that, I'd like to invite all the ministers and members of the Federal Executive Council that are here to please come up to the stage and wait for the minister and the head of service who will be leading him to join them. Honorable ministers, please. Can we have the honorable ministers join us on this platform? It's going to be done up. Yes, yes, yes. Honorable ministers, please can I have you join us here on this platform? It is when we are settled that we can invite the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, represented here by the Secretary to Government of the Federation. Members of the Diplomatic Corps, please be on standby as well. And then the very third batch will be our distinguished, that will be the second batch after this. Honorable ministers are already on standby. They're here on stage. May I invite the head of civil service to please invite the president to please join her over here. And of course, after this batch, we'll be inviting members of diplomatic community to also take their turn with a photo opportunity with the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces represented. Members of the Diplomatic Corps and development partners will take their turn together. That will be immediately after this. Your Excellency. Please, photographers, we need to do this with some dispatch so we can go back to plenary and our technical sessions. Members of a diplomatic community and development partners, please, you're up next. Thank you, Honorable Ministers. The SGF and the head of civil service will remain. Mr. Richard Montgomery. The ambassadors closest. All right, please, let's take our turn. Your Excellencies, members of the diplomatic community and our development partners. Please, let's get up close and personal. Let's get up close so that the pictures, oh yes, please, thank you. Okay. All right. Photographers, are you done? Thank you. Thank you very much, members of the diplomatic community. You may excuse us now as we allow the head of service to remain with the President's representative, as we invite former head of civil service of the Federation and the permanent secretaries to please come up and take their turn. Federal permanent secretaries and heads of services from the 36 states and FCT. We might have to break that in 2 batches as well. Heads of service of countries, not the state heads of services yet. Heads of service of countries and heads of services from the 36 states and the FCT. Heads of service from the various visiting countries, participating countries, and heads of services from the states will be next after the permanent secretaries. If the permanent secretaries are very many, we might break it down to 2-second batch. Dana? Okay. Yes. Okay, please, Your Excellency, we might have to break this. Can we break this into 2 batches, please? Because so many of you don't have a position right now. Can I do this? Do me a favor? Thank you. Those of you from here, just stand down. You can join. So you're tall enough, but from... Okay, please all of you join. We'll try. It's the beauty of staying together like that big broom that you all represent, the strength of the broom. They say you can all join. You can do ovation stand, standing sideways. Stand sideways and then look at the cameras. Yes, ma'am. Stand sideways at that end. Hello, sir. Stand sideways and then you look at the cameras. And if you are exiting the stage, please use the other side of the stage, the other stairway. Thank you very much. The next batch, heads of service from the states. Heads of service from the states and from participating countries. Heads of civil service from the participating countries and the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Heads of civil service from the visiting countries and 36 states of Nigeria and the FCT. Can we do this with some dispatch, please? Heads of service from the states and heads of service from the participating countries. Directors Generals, Executive Secretaries, MDs and CEOs of government parastatals, please be on standby for the next batch of photograph. Thank you very much, heads of service. You can join. Thank you very much. Can we have the Directors Generals and Executive Secretaries and CEOs of government parastatals? CG Immigrations, CG Correctional Service, CG Civil Defense, and representative of the police can join. Executive Secretaries and Directors Generals of parastatals, departments and agencies of government. Directors Generals and Executive Secretaries, MDs and CEOs of government agencies. Thank you very much. We mentioned heads of paramilitary organizations, Commandant General Civil Defense, Controller General of Nigerian Immigration Service, Kemi Nana Nanda, CG Customs if is here. Please, ma'am, CG Immigrations, ma'am, we're inviting you to join the head of service and the president for a photograph. including the rep of NDLEA. Hold on, please, briefly for the CG Immigration. Ma'am? All right. And then if the head of civil service, as magnanimous as she is, would allow the two masters of ceremony, the three of us, including Stephanie, join you for a photograph. Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, heads of paramilitary and formations. Thank you so much. Stephanie. Stephanie? Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Oh, Stephanie is here at last. Representative of governors that are here, Benue State Governor and I think Anambra also. The two representatives, please, can we have you quickly? Thank you very much. Representative of the Governor of Benue State and I think was that Anambra. Can we have you quickly? But if you're here alone, then you're just the luckiest, please. On this side of the SGF, so it will be balanced. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. And that will be it for photographs at this point. Thank you, Excellency. Thank you, Your Excellency, the head of Civil Service. Thank you. As you go back to your seat, let's clear the thoroughfare very quickly. We'll be taking the pledge to bring the opening ceremony to a close. That will be as soon as the special guest of honor returns to his seat. Can we have the... May we please rise at this juncture for the pledge to bring the opening ceremony of this conference to a close. The anthem, okay, fine. So can we have the first stanza of the national anthem as against the pledge, just corrected? Not the pledge, the national anthem, first stanza. Do you have it? If not, we'll recite it with enthusiasm as we're all excited about this.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all and proud to serve our sovereign fatherland.
Thank you very much. We wish you a very pleasant day for those of you that are leaving, especially our president who was here represented by the Secretary to Government of the Federation. But for the rest of us, please, the technical sessions continues in the various stages. So you may wish to go to your stage as you go, and we wish you a very pleasant day ahead. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.